in the first season, it was me, Dan Hero, Tim Pickerel. We started doing it at Tim's studio over in Brooklyn, and we started it out. And it was really good. We got some pretty rave reviews. But then it just weekly, consistently, people commitments got in the way, and it failed. Not that it failed, it just we couldn't keep up at that point.
Yeah.
And then you had something you were trying to brew.
Yeah, so I was actually working with Zach Rosetto and Antonio Antonucci, and we wanted to get a supporters podcast off the ground. And we knew about the studio, and we just wanted to do our own thing. And we started working with different platforms and everything, just trying to get something going. And it just kind of never took off. And then at that point, your show was gone, and he started talking to us about it, about our podcast.
We were looking to relaunch it, Studio 71,
yeah.
And it was Leo who was like, I have the equipment. And Leo went out and bought the equipment. He had to give us a studio space / his office. And he said, let's do this. So then I'm like, all right, we'll talk to, I was talking to Zach, and he got me, we started talking, and I'm like, oh, we can make this work. And we knew Prez, in between his 45 Ps every night, that he could do the editing.
This guy seriously goes to the bathroom all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Prostate issue?
Yeah.
There's only been one episode where we didn't have alcohol. Which
that
actually,
was the worst one.
Yeah, that was, and that was the only episode we didn't have beer or wine or anything.
Never again.
Nobody wanted to know about this episode.
How do you get your guests?
Well, lately the guest has been a struggle because we're in a temporary studio, aka my kitchen.
How the fuck do I save on this thing?
I'll do that. Just save it. Just do nothing.
Sometimes we reach out to the club.
Yeah, we reach out to the club.
We reach out to the club for some players. We've had Giovanni Savarese on once or twice.
But through your work with Midfield Press and in my work over the years with all the soccer, we have enough contacts where, we can make do. The issue is the club, because we record it in the evening, and this is their family time, so it is a bit of an issue to get players and coaches on. We like to get more of that, but at the same time, sometimes the club gives you that buttoned-up response that you don't want to hear. You want to hear a little juice, and if there's one thing the Cosmos do well, it's not let out any kind of juice. So.
I mean, I'm on a weekly call with Giovanni Savarese. I'm on the call every week, and the guy is very, very much by the book. Like, he gives very little personal stuff, but that's just the nature of the club. They play everything very, very tight to the chest, very close to the chest, and they don't show their cards too often.
Since Seamus has taken over, I mean, when it was the Paul era, they said whatever they wanted to say, wherever they wanted to say it. Since Seamus has taken over, the big thing with the club has been, don't say anything until there's actually substance behind it. Right. Don't start a rumor. Seamus is very actions louder than word type of guy. So that's just how the club is run.
True that Rongin was fired because there was rumors he was going to join your podcast?
If he was going to join a podcast, it was probably going to be the Tampa one, since he was on that literally every week.
Those are good guys. I've heard their show.
Yeah, very good.
They're very guys.
But no, I mean, it is fun. I mean, look, me and Louis.
Well, that's the next question. Why do you do it?
I love the Cosmos. I love soccer. I love the Cosmos. I want the NASL to grow. I know, from my years of talking to fans, there's a need out there for content, and maybe it's just the two of us. There's a lot of other great podcasts out there, but people not only. The good thing about this is, we'll talk about the Cosmos game, but we'll get Cosmos fans informed about everything else that's going on in the NASL, and that's the biggest struggle with the NASL is it's very hard to keep up on the rest of the league, and I do it for fun, and we both have day jobs, and from 8 to 5, 8 to 6, I really can't focus on this. I have to focus on work, and that's just part of life. But then you come home, and me and Louie are up till 2 o'clock every night, sharing stories, sharing links, researching the league, I rewatch every Cosmos game. If I'm there, if I'm in a watch party, I still come home, and the next day I rewatch it. And you know what? It's fun, because I love the team. I love I want to see everything grow, but it's fun.
I mentioned before, I got back from Toronto yesterday. I got back in around noon, and I came home, and I just threw on the Cosmos game, I rewatched it, I'm taking my notes, and I start throwing on other NASL matches, and throwing on one of the Tampa games, and I just kept working through the night watching other games. At one point I fell asleep, and I think it was something like 2 in the morning. I found myself asleep on the living room floor after trying to type out notes, and that's when I had to call tonight. But it's a labor of love. It's something I'm actually interested in. I never knew much about this league before I started doing this show. And I had done 5 Points Press just prior to this, and it gave me a basis for understanding the league. But after working on this and spending so much time, I feel like I have such a grasp on it, and there's so many stories to tell, and there's so much depth to this league that a lot of people don't really get, or I don't think they really care to understand. And there's other there are other great podcasts I think that cover the cosmos, and they cover them in their own ways. This is our way of covering it, which is to provide you stories on the cosmos and history and information and data, but on top of that, give you a context that it fits into, which is the league overall.
Yeah.
And how's the league doing? Because the Cosmos could be, oh, they won 3 games. That's fantastic. But how's the rest of the league doing? How do we stack up against that? And I just think that, this is what this show works on.
You know what? There's the perception out there that this is a Division II league and this and that. I'm not going to get into the whole battle that's going on in this world between MLS and NASL. All I know is right now the Cosmos play in NASL. And that's the league they play in. That's the league they need to win. And that's what we care about. Now, I'm a guy who does watch it, MLS. I'm not going to lie. I watch it. Soccer is soccer. I'll watch any soccer. You go inside and ask my wife the amount of soccer I watch. I have on DirecTV. I watch Guatemalan soccer. I'll watch any kind of soccer. But the NASL is our league. And you know what? The more I've watched it, especially with the show, it's a pretty fun league. There's a lot of quality play. It's definitely... And it's also fun to watch the league grow. Now, I'm not going to go into, in 5 years it's going to be this thing, that. No. I'm not even going to. It's fun to watch this league that started a couple years ago. And, I watched the old NASL, all USL and everything. The NASL now is, 3-4 years old? And it's growing. And the crowd's getting better. And we're a part of it. We're a part of spreading the news. And I know around the country, the rest of the fans hate us because we're reporting on the Cosmos. But I think it's very fair to say me and you are not homers. We will let the Cosmos. I will tell you now, Raul is lethargic. He's not what I expected. We're not all homers, so please tune in because we will call it as it is.
Yeah, I think we cover the league pretty fairly. When the Cosmos stink, they stink. When they're rocking, they're rocking. Same thing with the NASL. I think that when they make a move that we think is works for the league, we give them the proper amount of kudos for it. And, I have my doubts about some moves the league has made, especially lately. But overall, I think it's a fantastic league, and I don't think it gets the attention or the credit it deserves just because of the stigma of Division II. So, for me, it's a pleasure to dive in. Like the metrics that Nick and I are pulling every week for this league. There's no single site to go and dig this up. You have to dig through weeks of data and just outline stuff, things of particular attention and notice. This really has become
and you can't rely on the NASL site because that is awful.
Literally, instead our over instead of Mendez, some guy called Evoy was starting over him. So it's work. It's work, but it's a labor of love. And I think that there's a few individuals around the league who've really dedicated themselves to digging that up, and I feel that you can find the bulk of them on Midfield Press. I'm not saying that's where they're all at, but I feel most of them are on there. But this really is a labor of love, and it's just fun. And now it's 11:20 at night, and we're just wrapping up. But how can
the beer helps?
How can it be that Monday night's now my favorite night of the week?
But the most interesting thing about American soccer as opposed to English and Italian, I know this sounds crazy because they're two great historic countries when it comes to soccer. This is still developing. Everybody braves about the EPL and the history of English soccer, and I get it. This club's with 100 years of history.
We're both United fans.
Yeah, and it's true, and that's what makes it so romantic. But the reality is that history takes a while to build. But what we're doing now is we're creating that history right now between MLS, NASL, the USL, all the riffraff going on. But not even at the games being played every week is another day in the history of these clubs that maybe they started 2 years ago. Maybe it was the Auto Fury last year. But 100 years from now, we're part of that history. And hopefully those clubs are still around and these leagues are still around. In some way. I don't care who runs what. I just want them all to be around and meaning something.
Cheers to that idea.
So,
just a quick sign off. Anything you want to tell your fans? And believe me, you do have some fans.
you do that.
Thank you. This is something that we just did for fun, and just a small group of guys came together and tried to make a good show, and we try to cover the Cosmos well. We try to cover them fairly. We don't just want to be a PR mouthpiece. We want to be an accurate representation of, Cosmos fans, and we want to accurately portray the Cosmos. And on a second level, we want to accurately portray what the league looks like and what we really think about it. We also want to portray cats because we love cats. Yes, we love you, kid.
This is Cosmo.
So, thank you for tuning in every week. Like that means something to us, and we really appreciate it.
Love the show.
All right. So, what are you doing here? We pull my blunt.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, my cable was like.
I'm gonna move this over because I'm making a lot of noise on the one. All right, cool.
Alright, wait, not yet.
Are you ready?
Don't do yet. Your computer still shut. It's not stopping.
Why are we not soccering when we're supposed to be soccer?
Soccer now. Soccer right now.
All right, so let's. All right, we're gonna go around the NASL, but I just have to tell our listeners one thing. If you hear a little bell in the background, first of all, we're not gonna do anything right now. We're gonna pause this. Silence. This goes on everywhere. All right, we're going to go around the NASL right now, but first I got to tell our listeners, if you do hear a little bell in the background, don't mind it.
It's Nick's caller.
Yeah, until Leo comes back from vacation, we're in my cudio, and I got a kitten, and he's running rampant, so I do apologize for that. But around the NASL, there were a couple games this week. We started Wednesday night to Indy. They went to Carroll Stadium, and it was 2-0. And it was a rainy game. It was a little wet, but Dane Riches and Eric Norales scored for Indy. The one thing I noted in this game, and I know you had talked about it previously, was Pickens was back in the net.
Mm-hmm.
I know you were worried about what Kontafalski and what the hell was going on with there.
Yeah, so my whole thing for the past few weeks has been that Sean Tafalski has been in net for some reason, which I can't discern. He's not performed to the level that Matt Pickens was doing all season. And I've just kept saying, Matt Pickens needs to come back, And I think last week I even said the line, Tommy, put Matt Pickens in, and everything's going to be fine.
Thomas Rogan totally listens to you.
Well, and he did because he put him in, so.
The big one is Wednesday night at TD Place. The Cosmos go up to Ottawa. Top two teams in the combined table. Really, really big
Cosmos game. Podcast aside, that is the marquee matchup for this weekend. For this week.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Segment, we're just going to touch on the couple games coming up this week, and then we're going to answer some questions, and then probably tell you about what we're drinking, because that was one of the questions. But first off, Wednesday night, huge game at TD Place. Cosmos Ottawa. Really, Ottawa has been fantastic. Their defensive record speaks for themselves. They're a very good defensive team. They're very strong in the midfield. They seem to have an issue scoring up top in the beginning, but they're coming around that area well. This is going to be a very tough game. News for the fans, actually. A group of fans got together and formed 5 Points FC, named after the supporter section for the Cosmos. Let's give them a shout-out this week. They played in the New York City Supporters Cup, which is a cup featuring fans of all teams. And I'm not talking just, the Cosmos fans, the Rebel fans, and New York City FC fans, but you have Celtic supporters, you have teams from Central America,
Boca Juniors.
Yeah, fans of New York from all over.
And we have to mention Arsenal, or Matt will get upset.
Yeah, Team Arsenal, where our buddy Matt plays in, but they did pretty well. They went 2-1-2. They actually beat the team, the third rail team for NYCFC, which I know meant a lot to them. They played Celtic. I believe they beat Celtic 1-0.
They lost 2-0.
They lost 2-0 to Celtic. Thank you, Eitan, who's here tonight, for filling us in.
But tonight, the streets are ours. Do you know how to kill loneliness at last? Oh, there's so much there to heal, dear, and make tears things of the past. But do you know that tonight the streets are